We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the lower Hijaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar. We're in Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Iceman lines up on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Sainz, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Verstappen, Russell, Bottas, and Alonso, Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, and Magnussen, Gasly, Tsunoda, Guan Yu Zhou, and Sebastian Vettel, Albon, Stroll, Samaya, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going. that was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, this is your final lap of the race. That's a race win and your second race win in a row. Fantastic job.
disappointed faces up and down the pit wall after that one, but not here. They've secured a phenomenal victory. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win? A show-stopping performance from the three drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Iceman increases their championship lead. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Iceman. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.